Hi, my name is Kat, Art of Librarian, and welcome to a new reading vlog. It is now Thursday. I just uploaded the vlog from last week because I forgot yesterday. But it's up. It's all good. But I wanted to open a vlog. Also, there's construction going on, so please excuse that. So let's talk about what I'll be reading in this vlog. There's two books that I'm still reading that I are rolling over from last week. One being Dark Vanessa. I'm about halfway, like almost halfway. It doesn't seem like it, but if you look at the page count, it's almost halfway. I'm still liking this, and I still think it's good, but I do have a few issues with it. Mainly now that it is starting to feel long. Like, not that I want it to be over now, but just knowing that I have like half of the book left, I don't know that, like, I still need as much as I've already had. Like, I don't know if I need another 200 pages of story, personally. So yeah, that is a thing that I'm struggling with. Like, I think it's a good book. Other than that, I'm not loving the present timeline. Like, I can see it getting important, but at this point, I don't. Like, it does things. It's not like it's doing nothing, but I don't love it, and I don't think it does enough to make me say, like, yeah, I personally don't like it, but I think it's worthwhile. Like, I just don't like it. But we don't spend a ton of time in the present timeline. It's mostly the past one, so I can't complain too much about that. So I am still like I am still liking this book. I still think, there goes my bookmark, it's a good one, and so I'm definitely gonna continue reading it. I'm gonna hope to finish it this weekend. I got an email that my class tomorrow got canceled because the professor is sick. That was my only class tomorrow, so that means I can go home early. And so, like, start my weekend early, and so I have more time to read this, because, like, while I do, like, gonna have some work to do tomorrow, still, it still gives me more time. So, I'm gonna be reading this. I'm gonna try to finish this, which shouldn't be too hard. I'm also still reading The Mistletoe Bride and Other Haunting Tales, which is a short story collections. I'm dipping in and out of this as I feel like it. I don't think I've read any new stories since we last spoke. No, I talked about all the stories that I read. So, but I'm still reading this one. So I don't know how much I'm gonna read this week. At least a couple, but maybe not all of them. Probably not all of them. I am also still reading The Wings of Ashtaroth, but as I already mentioned, I'm not gonna talk about it the entire time in the vlogs. I maybe just not even mention anymore that I'm reading it. Until I like finish it, I'll give you some, or like halfway, and then I'll finish it and I'll give you some thoughts on this. But because I'm gonna do the spoiler video, it feels a little bit weird to just keep mentioning it in vlogs. So I won't mention this for a little while now. Then I just filmed my March TBR, and there was one book that I had initially put on the MBR, that when I was talking about it, I was like, ooh, I am really interested in that. And I do really want to read it, and it really sounds good. So I'm gonna put that on the TBR for this vlog. And that is The Animals at Lockwood Manor by Jane Healey. It's a historical gothic story set during World War II in England. And I'm really curious about this. I really want to try and read this. So I'm probably also going to take this home with me this weekend. So then I can try and finish this and then read this afterwards. So that is a TBR for now. I also would like to start one of my longer buddy reads. So then I'm thinking of either The Will of the Many, or maybe The Stardust Thief, which is technically isn't that long, but I mean, it's like fantasy that I'm going to be reading in English. Like, I want to start at least one of those this vlog and get a decent chunk of the way through. But at least start it. We're not going to be too ambitious for this week. So I want to finish my arc Vanessa, read some of this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish it. Like, I do think it's going to be quick and like, yeah, I don't know, flipping through it. The chapters aren't too long either. So I think that this will go very quickly. It's nice and floppy as well, which I don't often get. So I'm happy with that. So, and then starting that. That's the goal for the video. I just said that. I don't know why I repeat it. But, well. In other news, if you have seen last week's vlog, you've seen the saga with my broken heater. It is fixed now, I think, / hope. It was quite a thing because it was supposed to be fixed yesterday. And they fixed a thing that they were going to fix. But then they noticed that some other part had broke. And so they needed to order like a part that they didn't have to replace it with. And so I did it today, and like it's still a little chilly in here, but the place is definitely heating up, which I'm so happy about. And I hope that I'm finally gonna have hot water that I can actually shower. So I've been showering at a friend. Haven't gone a whole week without showering. That will be gross. I went to a friend to shower, but it's a whole thing that is now I don't need to do anymore. I can just shower at home, which I'm so excited about. So yeah, I'm really happy. I think that's it for updates. I have my last class for this week in about half an hour, so I don't know what I'm gonna do before that, but get ready and then do something until then. And then after that, oh, I'm so excited about it. It was a thing that started last week where two people who work at my university, they started doing like these little sessions where they teach like Latin conversation, like speaking Latin, just having regular conversations and just useful sentences. Which, like, the first one was last week and I really enjoyed it. So I'm gonna go this week as well, and I'm really excited about that. And then after that, I have rehearsal for a play I'm in, and I also really like that because it's so good. I like it. It's gonna be a fun night. I made fish pie last night, and I just had it for lunch as well, like the leftovers, which was great. It was just totally unrelated, but that was also good. I know, I'm just excited to be alive right now. This like happiness may have something to do with the fact that my heater is finally fixed. I hope it's gonna stay this way because like last week we had like the heater wasn't a problem, but we didn't have hot water, and then that was fixed. And then on Monday, like everything broke, which you would have seen in last week's vlog. And so I hope it now is fixed forever, and then like not more things break. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling now because I made this intro clip 10 minutes, which is way too long. So I'll stop rambling, and I will see you probably on Monday. So bye. Hi, it's Monday evening, and I have quite a few updates for you guys. If you've seen my TBR video, you know that I decided to participate in a Realmathon, so I signed up on Friday. I'm on Team Creation, so that means that I get points for blue books and books that have animals on the cover. So I'm gonna prioritize those in my TBR, or try to, but I'm just gonna read whatever because there are like enough prompts, and the prompts are vague enough that like every book will get at least some points. But you know, if I'm hesitating between two books and one of them's blue and the other one's not, I know which one to pick. But I thought it might be a good idea that when I finish a book that we can submit it together, because the point system for Realmathon is a little bit more involved. There are a bunch of prompts, and you can use up to 5 per book. And then there are bonus prompts that go on top of the 5, and the prompts either give your team positive points, or you can attack another team and they get negative prompts or negative points. But you either have to pick all positive prompts or all negative prompts. So what I think I'm gonna do when I finish a book, I'm just gonna go over all the prompts with you guys and just see how many points I would get for defending, or in how many I would get for attacking, and then whichever gets the most points is what we do. So I finished a book, but I'll leave that for the end of this clip. I'll start with stuff that I started during the weekend, which is 3 things. First of all, what I mentioned is that I would start The Animals at Lockwood Manor by Jane Healey, which is an historical gothic novel. I am this far into it, and I am enjoying it. So it's about, there's 2 POVs. We have Healey, who works for the National History Museum in London, and when the Second World War happens, the collection has to move to this manor to keep it safe, and she goes with them because like a lot of the employees of the museum are being, you know, they're joining the army for the war and stuff, because there's a lot of men, and so she as a woman gets a chance to prove herself, and maybe get a promotion, or at least she hopes to get a promotion at the end. So she wants everything to go perfect, and so that's her POV. And the other POV is Lucy, who is the daughter of the owner of Lockwood Manor, and she lives there. Her mother has died, and her mother like always saw ghosts, or was like, said she went crazy, that she saw things that weren't there, and she was a bit paranoid. And Lucy still gets these
weird dreams every night. And so, you know, it's a gothic story. We have some weird things going on. There is a panther, I think it was, that disappeared. It could be a leopard, but I think it was a panther. And so like it's just gone. It's nowhere to be found. You know, stuff like that. Like some of the animals get moved. You know, it's for a gothic story. It's not super atmospheric at this point, but I am enjoying it, and I am intrigued, and it is a pretty, like, it does read quite quickly. So I am enjoying this. This will also get me quite a few points because it is blue. It had birds, which are animals. So I will get some good bonus points for that. Then I also started an audiobook. I started Beach Read by Emily Henry, which is a contemporary romance about two authors who both deal with writer's block. Like, we get the woman's POV, and her father recently died, and she found out that he had an affair with this woman, and this whole other house where he lived with this woman, while her mother, like the main character's mother, had cancer and was really struggling, and so she feels like her whole life was a lie and is really struggling with that, and so she's a romance author, and so she's really struggling because, like, yeah, how can I write like some cutesy rom-com with like a happy ending if my life is falling apart? And then so, you know, she's kind of broke, so she moves into this house that her father lived with this other woman with, and left to her because she's broke and it's a free, like, she can live there for free now. She doesn't have to pay rent because it's hers, but she doesn't want to stay there. She wants to sell it because she doesn't want to be there. And her next door neighbor is her rival from college, who is a very successful literary fiction author. And so we have like a rivals to lovers story where they both deal with writer's block, so they make a deal to both try and write a book in each other's genre, and the person who gets published first, like, wins the bet. And so, yeah, it's not as cutesy as like, especially the American cover looks incredibly cutesy and fluffy, which it's not. It is dealing with some pretty heavy topics because we get into like, you know, the Gus, the male main character, has like a pretty tough backstory, so content warnings, like, look them up if you need them because there are some pretty heavy topics. Also, they're doing research for the literary fiction book, or like Gus was doing research for it, and he takes January, who is the woman with him. Also, their names are January and Augustus. Why is it that every romance has like something dumb or stupid or cringy? Like, why? But well, so we have that. I am enjoying it. I'm about halfway through. I read Book Lovers by Emily Henry before. I am not loving it as much as Book Lovers, but I am still enjoying it so far. And the last thing I started this weekend was Buddy Read with Andrew over at Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and that is The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. This is I think it's adult fantasy. The first book in the series is Middle Eastern inspired. It's a quest story. So we have our main character, Lowly, who is known as the Midnight Merchant. And so she is known for, basically, if you need something, she can get it for you. Like magical artifacts, which are really hard to find and therefore really valuable and expensive. She can find them all for you because she has this, well, people don't know this, but we know this because we get our POV. She has this magical compass that leads her to anything that she wants. And she has this djinn bodyguard, which, like, they have to hide these djinn because there's a lot of prejudice against them and they get killed. And if, like, their blood can make, like, plants grow and, like, life grow, which is, they live in a desert, so, which is pretty desirable. I do think there is more to it. I don't think that can be, like, the whole deal, but that's as much information as I got at the point where I'm at, which is this far in. But yeah, and then we have the other main character who is the son of the Sultan, and he just wants to, like, go out into the city and not be, like, locked up in the palace. And so that's how they meet. I believe we're going to go on this quest together. That's my prediction. There's a third POV character from a woman called Aisha, I believe her name was, and she is part of a group who hunts the djinn with the other son of the Sultan, like the oldest son. He's known for hunting djinn. So yeah, I am really enjoying it. I believe this is my first Middle Eastern inspired fantasy. At least I can't really remember another one that I read from the top of my head. I am really liking the inspiration. And like the overall vibes, I really enjoy that. Yeah, I'm really liking it. We learn a bit about, like, the magical artifacts that Lowly found, or that Lowly has, which I like reading about. Also, it's going to be a quest fantasy, which I like myself a good quest. So, yeah, I'm enjoying this. And then the book that I finished is My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russel. Last time I talked, I mentioned that it was getting a little bit long and that I wasn't sure if I was, like, gonna need more of, like, that. I was only halfway and I wasn't sure, like, if there was enough story left for so many pages. There was, because I thought that just, like, the entire past timeline would be her at the school with this relationship with her teacher, trying, like, to make sure that no one finds out, yada yada. But that was not it. We started doing other things. We went to, like, her college years and stuff. So I really liked that. I liked that we got to see a lot of, like, the manipulations that the teacher did to make her believe that she had all the power in the relationship, while in reality she obviously didn't, because she's a a teenager and a student, and he's like a 40-something-year-old and her teacher, and you know, and just how I loved how we got to see how she does like she kind of hates him, and she realized that what he has done to her is not okay, and she wants him to be punished, but at the same time she like can't help but like loving him and getting back to him and protecting him, and just like, you know, showing the manipulation and whatever. So I did like that, and sort of the need to keep like telling herself that it was romantic, and that they did really love each other and stuff. I thought that was, you know, I thought that was really well done. Yeah, and like I thought the ending was very appropriate. I don't know, it was the most satisfying, but I think it was very appropriate for the type of story and very realistic. So I did like this. I don't think it's like quite a 5-star for me, but I'm thinking more like a 4.5 because it is very well done. So yeah, my Dark Vanessa. Okay, so I have the prompts pulled up. Let's see if I were to defend what it would get. So I'll go over them where like prompts get the most points, and then down until I have 5 or until I run out of prompts. Okay, so it's not a 5-star read. It's not a book that Cassidy gave 4 or 5 stars. It's not a special edition. It's not a book I paid for. I don't believe the author uses a pseudonym. I'll look that up. I'll write it down. Hang on. I didn't scroll on social media to find the book. But this is not going great. It is a required read because it says in the description it also could be a book that I have to read before it goes back to the library, which it is. So I get 3 points for that. It's not a quick fun time read at all. Does it have an even amount of letters? It's 19 letters, so it's not even. It's not a pull pick. A book that you recently bought or decided to read or get from the library. I think I'm going to use this prompt as at the beginning of February. It wasn't on my March TBR yet, and I got it from the library, which is true, so I do get 2 points for that. Like, the Stardust Thief wasn't on my March TBR for at the beginning of February yet either, but I did own that one, so I'm not going to count that for this, but because I planned so far in advance, I do think that I could use this for that. I didn't read this in multiple formats. It was not a buddy read. It wasn't the last book in a series, and I didn't read it in one sitting. So for defending, I would give 5 points. If I were to attack, it doesn't have creation related or in the title. It's not an isolated setting. The author doesn't use initials. It's not written by two or more authors. It's not in a host's Realmathon video. For as far as I've seen them, I haven't seen all of them yet, but I didn't get it with a spinner wheel. It wasn't an anti-recommendation. I've heard nothing but good things. It's not a one-word title. It wasn't published before 2018. It does feature romance, ? Like, it's not that, you know, romantic, but it does feature a relationship, so I guess it does feature death. It is a new to me author. It's not more than one POV. I believe it's the author's most recent release. Like, I looked it up, and there is like an anthology that she contributed to, but in my spreadsheet, whenever I read an anthology, I only write down the editor in the author column, and so I'm gonna consider that anthology like a book by whoever edited it, and Kate Elizabeth Russel only contributed, not edited. So I'm gonna not count the anthology, and then it is the most recent release from this book. There is one prompt that says a book featuring revenge. I'm not like, I don't know, maybe that might be a little bit of a stretch, but we do have this other girl who's also or the third woman, because she's an adult in the present timeline, who was also groomed by the same teacher, who does go pretty like far and pretty intense in getting justice, even after certain events that I'm not going to mention for spoiler reasons happen, and it maybe not be super relevant anymore. So I do think we could count that as revenge. And so we get 8 attack points. So 5 defense, 8 attack. So I think I'm gonna attack with this one. Who am I gonna attack? I was thinking of doing Shadow, because like the Realm of Shadows, because it's my dark. Vanessa dark is Shadow, so I was kind of asking for it, but I feel like a lot of people are attacking Shadows, so I think maybe I should grab another one. And this cover does have a little white, and that is the color for the Realm of Time. So I'll be attacking the Realm of Time. There are also bonus points. So those get added, but then give me both positive or negative, so I count them now. So it is technically between 401 and 600 pages, but because I read some like 200 pages already, or 180 actually, in February, I'll count it as a book between 201 and 400 pages because of the amount I read, so I get 10 positive points for that. Then it has a school setting, so that's another 10 attack points. It's not a blue cover, but it does have the item of my realm, which is for the Realm of Creation as an animal. I would have a butterfly here, so that's another 10 attack points, which means that I get 10 positive points for my realm and then 28 attack points for the Realm of Time. I don't know how interesting the stats were, but there you go. I'll submit that, and I will talk to you again when I have another update. Bye.
Hi, it's Tuesday. I'm on live sprints currently. Well, I'm watching reading sprints. I'm not on screen. Because I decided to just not do anything but read today. Because yesterday was so exhausting. Like technically I'm supposed to get ready for class like now. But I'm not gonna go, I think. I'm just gonna stay home and read. I've been reading The Animals at Lockwood Manor. My work fell. And I have some updates. I have a theory about stuff that is going on in here. Like, I don't know how, like I have a feeling that I know what's going on, but I'm not entirely sure how that will be possible. So, like without any supernatural, what is my bookmark doing? Without any supernatural elements to it, I don't think it's going to be one of the supernatural ones. I do think, yeah, my theory, I haven't worked out how yet, but I do think I know what's going on. With like the animals disappearing, because I already told you about the panther disappearing, like something else happened as well. So I have a theory there. I'm also really liking, so we have the other main character, Lucy, who is the daughter of the owner of Lockwood Manor, and she like she has these dreams of the blue room, and she's convinced that it really exists, or like her mind is convinced that it really exists, but there is no blue room in this manor. And so like she can't find it during the day. No one knows of a blue room. Like there is no blue room in this house. What are you talking about? So I'm really intrigued with that, and I think it might tie in to my other theory. I'm trying not. I'm not saying what it is because I don't want to spoil it in case I'm right. But yeah, I am very like I'm liking it. I'm very intrigued. This is a book that has a lot of gothic tropes, but it doesn't have gothic vibes. Like it doesn't have the atmosphere that I expect from a gothic book, which makes the reading experience a little bit weird, and it makes it I'm not entirely sure who to recommend this to, because I think if you want a gothic book, you go in for the gothic vibes, and the atmosphere. I think that's a big component to it, which doesn't have, but it does have a lot of tropes, and it does have a lot of references to like classic gothic books. So yeah, I don't know. We have some like feminism themes in here, with our main character Healey, who isn't being taken seriously as sort of the one responsible for the museum collection at this manor. Like there was a party in the bit that I read in the previous print where she is continually asking people like, please don't touch the animals, like this is important, this is valuable, these are rare things, these are important, like scientifically important things, some of these are unique and irreplaceable, like please do not touch them or anything, and just no one takes her seriously. And her wondering like, is it because I just genuinely don't care, or because a woman is telling them this? And so we have these sort of like feminism themes in them. Yeah, there was a weird passage with I don't know, there were like two chapters, in one in Healey's POV, one in Lucy's POV, where we're just talking about like relationships and how they haven't gone well, and how they had hoped to have sex and have good sex, but that didn't happen for both of them for different reasons, and it just felt really weird, and I don't know why it was there. Maybe it will maybe it'll become relevant. I don't know, but it was a little weird. Yeah, other than that, I am quite enjoying this. It does read pretty quickly, so I will talk again when I have another update. Bye. Hi, it is still Tuesday, and I'm here to do the final clip of this vlog. So I'll start. I went out to the library and the bookstore, and I got stuff, so I'll start with a little haul for you guys of mostly library books. The one thing that I bought. So, I figured, you know, since I'm on team creation, I might just completely go for it and just grab a bunch of blue books and books with animals on the cover while I was there, because I was going to the library anyway. So I did, and I went a little bit overboard. But it's fine. So the thing that I actually went for is Sourcery by Pratchett. My goal is to read a Discworld book a month, and this one is for this month. And you know, it counts it as a crocodile down here. So we can use that for that prompt. Another one with animals is The Empress of Salt and Fortune, which is the first book in the Singing Hill cycle, which is a series of novellas. Within Realmathon, there's also a 48-hour readathon where you get extra points for a book that you finish in those 48 hours. So I'm gonna use this for that because we have animals, and it's very short, so I'll be able to finish as many books as possible within the 48 hours. Then the other ones that I have are blue books. So I'll start with the one that I actually bought, which is Iris Kelly Doesn't Date by Ashley Herring Blake. A contemporary romance. I have a lot of romance in this deck now that I'm looking at it. But then I have the trilogy complete because I already own Delilah Green Doesn't Care and Ashtaroth Parker Doesn't Fail. Haven't read Delilah Green yet. I really loved Ashtaroth Parker. And like I think that I'm gonna love Delilah Green as well, and Iris Kelly as well, I hope. And it's very blue, and I'm happy to have this. Also, it's a great length. It's like 402 pages. You get points based on the amount of pages of your book. And it's like 0 or like 1 to 200, 201 to 400, 401 to 600. So we fall into the points bracket for 400 to 600 without having to read much more pages than 400, because if you're like 598, then like that's almost 600, but it's kind of sour that you don't get the points for 600. So it's actually a great length. Thank you, Ashley Herring Blake. Then I also got The Love Hypothesis by Ellie Hazelwood. Also very blue, and I've been wanting to check this out for a while. I am planning to read Below Zero, which is a novella also by Ellie Hazelwood, during the 48-hour readathon, because it is very short and I'll probably be able to get through it very quickly. And it also has a blue cover. So yeah, but I grabbed this one. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get to this. I may, like, this one out of the ones that I got is the least likely to get read. But you know, I got it anyway. Then I have two books in the same series. I have Get a Life Chloe Brown and Act Your Age Eve Brown, which are the first and third book in the Brown Sisters trilogy by Talia Hibbert. I didn't get the second book because that was yellow. But the first one also has a little cat here, so it also counts for an animal on the cover. I've heard nothing but good things about this series and I've been wanting to check it out for a while. So I got these. Actually, I was planning to get only this one. Like I went to the romance section with the idea of getting Get a Life Chloe Brown. And then I was there and I was like in the age with Hibbert, and then I saw Hazelwood, and it's like, oh yeah, right, because it's also aged because they're together. And then I saw that this one is also yellow, so I just grabbed all of them. With the idea, if I don't read them, I can always return them unread. There's no harm in that. So I got these two, and then one that also went in with the idea of getting is The Will of the Many, which I need to read for a book club, and it's also pretty blue. I think it's really funny how the library like takes off the dust jacket and just puts the naked hardback with like the plastic protective wrap foil thingy, but just so you would know what book it is, like they cut out the cover and just slap it on there. Like we glue it on here. Also inside, like the blurb on the inside flap is also like glued on the first page, which is really funny. But yeah, so we do have a blue cover there as well, and I'm so excited about this one. It is a book club pick for this month. So yeah, that's the haul. On my way there, I listened to more of the audiobook for Beach Read by Emily Henry. I'm now 80% of the way through, and while I'm still enjoying it, but I'm getting to a point where like I'm ready for the book to be done. So I've 2 hours left of the audiobook. So I'll probably finish that in the next vlog. So yeah, I'm not really sure what to say about it that I haven't said yet, because it's just, it feels like it's a lot of it is like, it feels a little repetitive at this point. And so I'm okay with it being over now. Which feels like it's not a good book, which I'm not saying that, but it's, after a while, like, are ready to move on. Then I mentioned that I was just gonna sit here all day and read. I read a little more of The Animals a Lot More Matter, which I updated you on. I also read a little more of The Stardust Thief. So they left on their quest. This we're in. They left on their quest now. And the prince, who is also one of the POV characters, I was wondering how he would come along with the quest, like how he would get involved with the quest, because that was a feeling that I got from like the synopsis and just the overall vibe of the story. But there were things in the POV of this prince that I was wondering how that would happen, and it happened in a way, and I don't know if I like the way that happened. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll start to like it later on, but at this point I'm not sold on that decision yet. Is it a spoiler? It's pretty early on, right? I'll just say it. Like his older brother, who is a djinn hunter, his father says like you have to go with Lally to keep an eye on her because the Sultan is the person who ordered Lally to go on this quest. And then Mazen, who's the POV prince, he still owned Omar, the older brother, a favor. And so Omar said, no, I'm not leaving. So we're gonna use these magical artifacts to switch appearance so that everyone would believe that I'm on the quest and that you're still in the Perilous, while actually it's the reverse, but we'll just switch appearance. And so that's how Mazen gets along with the quest and how he leaves. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't love that decision, personally. But yeah, that's actually the reading I did today. I didn't read as much as I wanted to. My goal was to get to page 200 in both of these. I got to page 130 in this one and 140 in this one. So not quite as much as I'd hoped, but that's fine. What else did I read during the vlog? I finished my Dark Vanessa. Is that all that I read? I think so. So that is the vlog then. I hope you enjoyed. And I hope to see you again in another video.